Close your eyes and picture someone with an extremely high IQ. You might imagine a quiet genius, glasses maybe, perfectly confident, someone who always has the right answer. But here's the truth. The reality is far from that picture. People who score in the top fraction of a percent on cognitive tests don't walk around feeling like geniuses. Most of them spend countless nights awake, not because they're solving cosmic problems, but because their minds just won't switch off. They replay old conversations, rethink tiny mistakes from years ago, and sometimes even talk out loud to themselves when no one is around. They forget ordinary things constantly, misplace keys, or wonder if they responded to that one text. When you study their psychology up close, it's chaotic, messy, and deeply human. One of the most consistent traits is chronic self-doubt. And it's not insecurity. They genuinely believe they are less capable than they really are. Research on competence and self-assessment shows that higher performers often underestimate their abilities, while lower performers overestimate theirs. The explanation is simple. The deeper you understand a subject, the more you see all the gaps in your knowledge. A beginner may feel confident. A master notices the things they don't know. This produces a low-level anxiety that someday someone will figure out they're not as capable as they appear. The smarter they are, the more elaborate the reasons they can imagine for why they're failing. It's almost funny. The person most qualified in the room is often the one convinced they shouldn't be there. Many highly intelligent people are night owls. And it's not just habit, it's neurological. Studies by Kanazawa and Perina show that individuals with higher IQs tend to go to bed later and wake up later, even when schedules are controlled. Their minds crave uninterrupted time to read, think, or create. Staying up late isn't laziness. It's just the way their brains are wired. Often, you'll find them scribbling notes or reading while the world sleeps. They also talk to themselves. This isn't unusual. It's called private speech, and it's a tool for thinking, planning, and solving problems. High IQ minds use language as a tool for reasoning, not just communication. So if you catch someone muttering in a store or parking lot, they're not crazy. They're processing ideas out loud. Another trait is anxiety and overthinking. Their brains run constant simulations, imagining every possible scenario, everything that could go wrong. Research, including studies by Penny and Bott, shows a link between high verbal intelligence and elevated worry. This predictive thinking helps them prepare for challenges, but it also exhausts them because their minds never stop scanning for threats. Ironically, despite their brilliance, they often forget mundane things. Keys, texts, appointments, names. They can be surprisingly absent-minded. This isn't carelessness, it's cognitive prioritization. Their attention is naturally drawn to abstract, complex problems, so everyday details slip through the cracks. Their minds may be modeling a 15-step problem while forgetting the stove is on. Language mastery is another hallmark. People with extremely high IQs often have rich, expressive vocabularies, including words that might make some listeners blink. Research shows that comfort with strong or taboo language can even correlate with higher verbal intelligence. Words are tools, and they choose the one that fits the moment perfectly, even if it's a four-letter one. Finally, many experience heightened sensory sensitivity. Crowds, loud noises, bright lights. These aren't minor annoyances. Studies suggest that brains capable of deep thought also process more sensory information, making quiet, controlled environments essential. The same bandwidth that handles complex ideas also absorbs more from the environment, which can be overwhelming. Put all of this together, and extreme intelligence doesn't look like perfection. It looks like constant mental motion, self-doubt, sleepless nights, internal conversations, anxiety, forgetfulness, and sensory overload. These aren't flaws. They're the human side of brilliance. And if any of this feels familiar, it's not weakness. It's simply the way your brain works differently, in ways most people never experience. Intelligence isn't always obvious. Often it's quiet, chaotic, exhausting, but also remarkable in ways that leave everyone else amazed, even if the person living it feels drained most of the time.